one of the
Fabulous.
questions that came up there was about the scholarships for parents. And I'm just wondering if you would, I understand you want to meet the families where they are, and I totally agree with that. But I wonder too if we could have some kind of creative goal setting to undo some of the leftist policies. And four of them that started in 1913 were the 16th Amendment, 17th Amendment, the Federal Reserve Act, and the Tariff Act. And all of those really defeated Americans and our own income and made us pay the federal government. Can we undo some of that instead of taking money from the government for our education of our children? Does that make sense?
So I think what you're saying, I think what you're saying is the school voucher equivalent. Is that correct? That for school choice, is that right, Brenda?
Yes.
Okay.
It concerns me because I know
yes.
Already in Florida, they were requiring a test for the families to keep that money. And so you're forced to teach to the test.
Got it. So a couple thoughts. Yes. So do you remember my answer at the Academy Summit? I don't know if you were in the room when I gave my answer.
I was.
This came up twice. Yeah.
Yes. And my concern.
So let me repeat that for the audience.
Oh, good,
yes,
good.
Really quick. Let me just kind of do this, and I'll throw it back to you, Brenda. So here's the concern. I got the question now. So Brenda is voicing a very good faith concern, which is like, hey, all this school choice momentum, does it come with strings if you want to homeschool your kids and then if you want to send them to charter schools or to private schools? What Brenda is voicing is a concern that if we embrace school choice and the money follows the child, and that money is through a scholarship or through an ESA, an educational savings account, all of a sudden, are we going to have now public school and government influences in homeschooling environments and then in private schools? This is a concern I hear a lot. So the best test case, and Brenda knows my answer because this is what I said during the Q&A, is Arizona. Arizona had a monolithic, bureaucratic, government-run educational system. We have the best school choice in the country in Arizona. Is it perfect? No, but you can take your taxpayer dollars because it's your money. You can go to a private school, you can go to a Catholic school, you can go to a Christian school, you can go to any sort of co-op. I think you can now go to even homeschools. So Brenda, my opinion is that we need more of that, especially in states like California and Illinois and New York, to allow the money follow the child. Because the current system right now is if you go to downtown Chicago, downtown Baltimore, you go to downtown Cleveland, you go to downtown Philadelphia, you have these kids that are just stuck in failing schools with no capacity, no ability to be able to choose a better school. And so in some ways, you could joke that we are pro-choice when it comes to schools. Now, at the same time, Brenda, I think we need to be vigilant because your concern is very legitimate. Anytime that we allow the government into anything precious or sacred, they're going to abuse it. They're going to try to standardize it. They're going to try to make it overly bureaucratic. And so I don't know much about the Florida example. However, I can tell you that Florida school choice has generally been a big victory. I guess we're left with two options. We can continue in the current system where parents get none of their money back. And remember, I would only, the language change I would say is that these are government-run schools using taxpayer money. So it's your money. You have a moral obligation to be able to send your money to the school of your choosing and of your liking. So if you're in an area that has a woke, transgender, men and female sports, men and female locker rooms like we see in Deerfield, Illinois, that parent should be able to take the 10, 15, 20,000 a year that they're paying in property taxes or the equivalent and be able to go to a private school, a voucher school, a Christian school. They should be able to go up the street to Christian Heritage Academy where I got educated and I gave my life to Jesus right there on Waukegan Road, intersecting with Willow. You know the area if you're in Chicago and listening to this right now. The point being is I think we should want to have more choice, more capacity to send the money with a kid. However, Brenda, I think your concern is that, hey, this is a way to get the government in homeschooling environments. And so the solution is very simple then, Brenda. Don't take the money. If you are a homeschool family, you don't have to take the money. Now, if you take the money, then you might be inviting government strings. But if you absolutely do not want the government to come into the education of your kid, I'm going to tell you what we're going to do in our family. We're going to be educating our kids at home, and we'll probably end up sending them to maybe a public school or a private school once they get into 8th or 9th grade. But at least for the first many years we're going to be homeschooling. We're not going to take any government money. We're not going to take any scholarship money. First of all, we've been very blessed. Secondly, we don't want any government strings potentially with it. So Brenda, I don't know if that answers your question or not, but I definitely know that it would explain it to the audience, and I covered it during the Turning Point Academy Educator Summit.
For full shows, live and on demand, it's Salem News Channel.